Hi there, it's Karen here. Welcome back, and we're back with the Alternate Index Challenge 2025, hosted by Suzanne at Nonstop Papercrafts, and her links will be below. So this week's prompt has made me think a lot. Creative life is the prompt. So it's one of those slightly vague prompts that I really struggle with, because it's how do you home in on it? How do you home in on creative life? And I kind of wasn't sure I was going to do this one. I was thinking of another video I might do. And then I ended up doing what I usually try not to do, and that's watch Suzanne's video. She always posts her video on the Thursday, and mine go up the following Monday. So there is an opportunity, if I need the inspiration, to watch her video before I do mine. Quite often I've actually already made mine most of the time I've already made my video before I watch hers, but this time I thought I'll wait and see what she comes up with and see if it gives me a way in. And it did. It gave me lots of ideas. So my video is kind of a little bit like hers, but I've gone in my own direction. I've followed my own path on this one, but it gave me a starting point, and that's what I needed. I needed a how do I get into it? How do I approach this prompt? So I think I've probably made my life quite complicated by what I've ended up doing, but I think it's what I wanted to do. So let's go with it and see how it turns out. So let's just put the prompt list aside, because we need lots of room. Because we've only got a little card, and I think it's going to have a lot of things on it, because I'm going to try and fit in everything that I like to create with, which is going to be a bit of a challenge. But I'm going to start with a background, and I've got my Tim Holtz stencil. This is doily. I was going to use lace, but lace was a bigger pattern. It's a bit more floral, and it's not quite what I was looking for. So I've gone for doily, and I think that will give me the kind of soft background I'm looking for. And I'm trying to go with things I really like for this, because this is, I'm thinking my creative life is what I'm going for, because I think that's what she's come from as well. When she did hers, she chose the colours and the techniques that she likes to use. So I'm doing the same. So I wanted a kind of a lacy looking background, just to take away from the plain white. So I'm just going to go over this softly with broken china, because in case you hadn't guessed, turquoise is my favourite colour, and this is as close to turquoise as I've got in the inks. You might have got the clue from the name of my channel. Family call me Mrs. Turquoise. I'm just going to cover the whole card with this stencil, but try not to make it too bright, because it's quite a bright colour. Okay, I think that should be it. Yeah, so I've got a really soft, pretty background now, or lacy. That's exactly what I wanted. So the next thing is to do a little bit of stamping. So this is pretty much how Suzanne started with hers. She did her colour background, and then she added some stamps that she felt were appropriate to our craft. I've got different ones because that's what I have, and it's actually kind of a bit more sewing related, because I happen to have a set of sewing stamps. So these are the stamps. So there's scissors, there's a a reel of lace, there's a tape measure, thimble, safety pins, buttons. There's a whole variety of sewing related items. So I thought, well, I'll pick the ones that were most relevant to me. So of course scissors. We use scissors all the time, so I'm going to put some scissors on here, just here and there. I've got the reel of lace, because I use lace all the time. It won't be the only appearance lace makes on this card, I have to tell you. And there's this one which is like a row of stitches. So I thought I'd do that all around the edge, because that's what we do, isn't it? Well, a lot of us do. Don't have to, but I don't do it on everything. But I really like the look of stitching around the edge of my pockets and tags and journal cards and things, and I always stitch around my covers as well. So maybe I'll just start with that. Try and get this to stay on. Just do a little bit of faux stitching all around the edge, and let's see how that goes to start off with. And then we're going to do some more things. I've got so many. I've done quite a lot of preparation this morning because I thought otherwise this video will be very, very long. Because if I hadn't done it, we'll be here all day. So I'm just going to get this stamped all around the edge. Whoops. Try and hold it. Try and hold it straight. Right, so that's stitching all around the edge. I wish now I'd used the brown rather than the black, because brown is usually the colour I stitch with, but I wasn't thinking. So never mind. It's very juicy, this black, so I was getting it everywhere. Okay, so I think I should just do my other little bits of stamping. So I want to do something just down here in this corner, this bit of lace here. So I'm going to do that in, what colour should I do it in? I'm wondering whether to use a similar colour to the background. No, that won't work. I'll use the pine cone, I think. Okay, let's do this. Don't need all of it. I want that down this bottom right corner. And you'll see why as we go along. Okay, so we have our little roll of lace. Okay, and then I want some scissors. Just thinking where's the best place for the scissors. Just wondering whether to just kind of do a couple of pairs just going across. I think I might need a pair, something like that. They're quite large. Would have been good to have had a smaller one. Bits of it are going to get covered up, I think. But we'll see. Might be able to make a little bit of it appear here and there. Okay. Let's wipe this edge. I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm just going to do it kind of there. And then I might do a kind of ghost print. Where should I put that? If I'm not quick, it will. There won't be any ink left. Across the middle there. There we go. Okay, we have scissors. Now comes the next bit. So I'll have to explain my idea. So what we're going to do, I can show you what I found when I was searching through my bits and pieces to see what I could use. I found these stamps. I've had them for a long time. They're by Creative Expressions, and they're ticket stamps with, I suppose, inspirational words on. So we've got create, hope, dream, art, inspire in the bigger stamps. And then the 4 smaller stamps have got the same words, except the only one they haven't got is art. So we've got inspire, dream, hope, and create. So I thought, well, they're good words to use for this. So what I want to do, what I've started with doing with these is I've stamped some. I've got 5. I need 5 pockets. So I've stamped it 5 times. I've got 2 of the bigger ones. I've got 1 on avocado dye paper. I've got 1 on old Italian book page. I've got 1 on coffee dyed paper, 1 on dyed paper, and 1 on, which I've already cut out just to try it out, on straw paper. So these are the papers that I use the most to stamp on, to back with. I use these. These are my go-to papers for anything plain where I need a plain background. So I thought, well, right, I'm going to stamp on 1 of each of those because that's what I use. So that's what I've done. So this one I've cut out because I just wanted to get the size, because I'm going to put them onto little pockets. I'm going to make little pockets. So one will go here, and something like this. And there's going to be 1, so I've got to have 5. So I'm going to 3 small ones going down here and the 2 bigger ones on this side. And then we're going to put things in those pockets, and you'll see what that is in a bit. But I think the first thing I need to do really is to cut out the rest of these little stamped tickets. I'll just cut that one out just to check the size of the pockets. So I just want to cut the rest of these out. I just wanted to show you and explain why I've used these different ones. I was going to do them all on the same thing. I thought, no, I want to make this really about my creative life, what I use when I'm creating my journals. So far we've got ink, stencil and doily, the doily stencil in the background. We've got stamped scissors and lace. So that's the start. These of course will be part of these will be the words I'm using, but there's one more word to come which will go in you'll see that'll build up in the pockets. So I'm just going to right, so we've got all these cut out now. Now I've got my 5 little pockets cut to the size of the tickets. So my plan is that each of these pockets will have a different medium on it as well. So I'm going to go like that, like that, like that, like that. And I've got 5 things to cover them with. We have some coffee dyed cheesecloth. We've got some old French vintage lace. We've got some trim. We've got some not so old lace that I got from a charity shop. It was an item of clothing that I've cut up, but I love using those. And I've got some really lovely fabric. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover each of these pockets with one of these items. So I think, where's my scissors? So I'll do the small ones with this piece of really pretty eyelet trim. That one's going to go on there. I'm going to have a piece of the fabric on one, and we're going to use the cheesecloth on one. And I'm going to try and fray this up a bit as well, because that's what we like. A bit of good old frayed cheesecloth. Well, I don't know if everybody likes it. I do. I like a bit of frayed cheesecloth. Just going to cut that bit off. Fray it up again. So that's going to go on there. And this piece is a little bit big. I nearly put it on one of the bigger ones, but I actually want a piece, some of it hanging down. I'm going to cut a piece off the top, I think. And that's really nicely frayed, so maybe not. It's a bit wide, so let's cut a piece. Now I want to keep that lovely flower. Just cut a little bit off the side. And just going to have to take a little piece off this bottom. Encourage it to try and get it to fray a bit. Doesn't need much encouragement, this piece. Okay, then I'm just going to stick those on, and then these ones are going to have the lace. Whoops, where's me? The fabric's going to go on there. The other way around. Got a bit of lace on there. Just cut that down a bit. Don't need it to be quite this big, but I do want it to be bigger than the pocket. A little bit bigger. And this piece is obviously way too big as well. Cut that down there. In fact, I might see if I can tear it. But probably not. Nope. It won't tear. So that's okay. And then, no, it's that way. I think I'll just cut it down. Oop. Just want it sticking out a bit, but I don't need it to be too big. I may cut them down a bit more when I've glued them on. So now I'm going to glue all these pieces on, and we'll see how it looks, and then we're going to put the tickets on top of those. Right, so they're glued on, roughly as I want, roughly in the order, I guess, that they're going to be on the card. Well, I want to say roughly, they pretty well are going to be in that order. So then I just need to put create up there, and art there. Then we can have dream, create, inspire, like that. Don't know if this is going to work with glue stick now, so I think I'll stick with this, even though it's quite difficult to get out. It's a little thick, this glue. And I'm going to put these on now. Right, so that's our 5 little pockets. What's going in them, I hear you ask? Oh well, I'm hoping they'll go in. So what I've got in mind. So let's just lay them on the card and see how they fit. So we're going to start with that one. And we got that one. So I'm going to put this in the middle. So this little one here at the top. Then we've got one there. Then we have this one here. Big one here. And this one here. So that will look good. You can still see the scissors and the other bits in the background. What I want to put in those pockets, I've pulled out this packet of little tiny tags. I don't know if you remember, I showed you these in a video recently saying I didn't know what I was going to do with them. Well, I found something to do with them. And obviously I've got loads more, but I'm going to use those. I've got them here. I haven't yet done them, but I'm going to cover these as well with some medium that we use a lot. So I've got my 5 little tags. Oh, it start me off singing with the. I don't know about you guys, but I've always had. We get earworms in our heads, don't we? Where we've got a song going around your head over and over again, and it always used to be whatever was in the charts at the time, or whatever song I'd latest heard on the radio. These days, it's nursery rhymes, and the 5 little tags made me think of. We do 5 little ducks, 5 little monkeys. There's a song for everybody, and so immediately I had 5 little ducks going around my head. Because that's what we do these days. We sing nursery rhymes. Okay, so I've got my 5 little tags, and on those I'm going to put some music paper on one. I'm going to put a piece of digital paper on one. William Morris, of course, why not? I'm going to put a piece of Florentine paper on one. I'm going to put some washi tape on one, and some lovely old book page. So again, all the things that I use the most for whatever in our journal making. That's what I use. So, and this is a bit of German from one of my old German books. And I don't think I'm going to cover them right to the top because it's just too complicated to cut round that. So I'm just going to cover them there. So let's just do that with all of these. So we're just going to put a bit of glue, stick them on. That one. And we got some gorgeous Florentine paper. Love to use Florentine paper that I don't always remember, but I do love it. So I thought, well, it's got to go on there, hasn't it? So that's that. Then a bit of lovely digital paper, and yeah, I'm just going to tear that across there. Pop this on here. Then we're going to have a piece of music paper. Hang on, what have I lost? I've lost one. Oh yeah, I've got the washi tape, right. Okay, so we're going to do a piece of just tear this off here. Piece of music paper. Like that. And this one I think we're just going to, I think perhaps I will put some glue on this as well, just to make sure. And then layer it up. Right, we have the washi tape on that one. And then I'm just going to cut round all of these and I will be back. Right, so cut round all my little tags. I've added the strings. I could have gone mad and added a different type of string for each tag. I mean, I did think about it, but you know, you could have baker's twine and sari silk and ribbon, and you know, you could come up with 5 different things, and string. But I decided that was just going too far. I was just going to stick with the string that came with the tags. So that's what I've done. So I think what we should do now is glue down our little pockets and hope that these go in the pockets. That's always a worry. But well, fingers crossed, we'll make it work. We will make it work. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue just around each pocket and see what happens. So while the pockets are drying, we have one last little thing to put on our tags, and that's our word of the card. And we've got create on there, so we don't need to use that again. So I'm just going to do craft. That's where the 5 has come from. 5 pockets, 5 tags. The 5 letters of the word craft. And for this I have die cut the words out of some black card. So we're going to got to make sure I put them in put the letters in the right order. Hang on, I'll try and get hold of these silly little letters, but it's the only thing I could fit on here. So maybe put the A there. I think what pocket they're going to go in. So I think into the pink pocket I'm going to put this one. Into I'll get hold of my letters. There we are. The T is going to go down. It's going to be T. So that's going to be this one, I think. And the F. It's going to go on here. That's going to go in this pocket. Right, so we've just got to glue those on now. Let's put them in the right order, otherwise I'll get C-A-R-A, sorry, I should say. C-R. Is that going to go there? Or do I want something a bit more colourful? Yeah, that's a good one because that's a colourful background. Yep, that's going to work, I think. Okay. So you probably notice I had a bit of trouble gluing down some of these tickets onto the lace particularly. So I had to use my fabric glue for that, but they all worked quite well. And if any of them were coming up, I just added a bit more fabric glue to them. So we'll put the C on here. So you won't see the letters, but as you pull them out the pockets, the word will emerge. That's the idea. So I feel like I've probably made this a little bit more complicated than it needed to be. But at the same time, when I started thinking about it and having the idea of doing these different mediums to suggest my creative life. I thought this, the idea of the pockets and the little tags, it all just came together in my head, and I thought, and I actually, I thought I got a bit excited about doing it. Up until then, I really had no idea. So it was thanks to Suzanne. She did inspire me, although my card has ended up very different to hers. But at the same time, there are elements. If you watch her video as well, and I will link her channel, you will see that there are definite elements of her card that's inspired this card. Sorry about that. Somebody's going past on a little motorbike. Very noisy little machine it is. We do get, considering this is a village, and it's not a huge, it's a fairly big village. It's a long, thin village, I think. We do get people travelling up and down here at all times of the day and night. Feel a bit where they all come from, to be honest. Right, I think I need a little bit of dry wet wipe. I'm getting a bit of oozing on this one, on the washi tape. Whoops. And it needs a minute to grab, I think. These ones are fine because they're all on paper. But the washi tape is a bit more of a tricky surface. I think we've got it. I think it's on. Make sure these are all. I think they're all on. Right. Now the test is, are they going to go in my little pockets? So let's see what we can do. Can you go in there? Can you go in? I think these pockets are a little bit tight. I didn't glue that, did I? No. No. Just trying to find the edge of the pocket. There it is. Going in. Yeah, I wasn't sure how well these would go in, but they do fit. It's just that these pockets are a bit tight. Okay. I'm going to put that one in here. These are bigger pockets, but they're still pretty tight. And that's coming up. That just come off. So never mind. We're going to get it in there. Come on. That's it. I just need to lift the edge of it. And I'm going to have that going that way. That one's going that way. C-R-A. That's gone in a little bit better. Lost my little string. C-R-A. I think it's glued. F. It's gone in there. And T. That one went in without too much trouble. So there we are. There's our little card for creative life. And I think it's pretty well encapsulated all the things I love to use in my creative life. Don't think I've missed anything. I hope not. So that's it. Week number, I think we're on week 30. Week 30 of 52. Creative life. And this is the card. And I'm really pleased how it turned out. I had a picture in my head. I had an idea of what I wanted to do. Just didn't know how well it would turn out. But I love it. So there you go. Creative life. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you can join me again soon. Bye for now.